Good morning, revision. Good morning, people on the stream and on the satellites. Yeah, we're here on Sunday morning to wake you up.
Good morning, everyone.
And yeah, like the past couple of years, we're just gonna sit here like a couple of old dudes rambling about a past, a future, and all that is around that. And yeah, today we have with us Stux. It's his first demo party, and he decided we wanted to be on stage so he can share some impressions from his first visit. And we have Net Poet, who is very pretty.
Is it Sunday already?
It is, but it feels like Sunday with you anytime.
Yeah, I'm surprisingly awake, and so seems to be the rest of us. Yeah, we have 15 years of revision this year, which is quite a milestone, and yeah, just talk about that, what that means, what happened, and yeah, what were our favorite moments and stuff like that. So, have every NetPoet, you have been here in 2011, the first revision?
I have.
Dojo, have you?
I have not.
You have not. Okay, that's
No.
shameful.
It is. My first revision was actually 2012, and I was only a lowly visitor.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, can we reminisce a bit about 2011? What's different now? I mean, 2011 seems so, well, it was very far away. It's been a long time, but yeah.
To me, looking back, 2011 was a huge switch coming from Breakpoint, taking a lot of people into the revision orga team. And it was different because a new venue, a new everything, basically. It was fresh. And now, most of you might not know this, but you had nothing to criticize, really, on Friday morning. There was nothing. I think on Thursday night, you basically said something like, hey, you said something like it's surprising, but there's really nothing major to do anymore. Is that right?
Yeah, something along the lines, yes.
So it's, mainly we've grown from new everything to very established, the Kuschelstufen, the everything, the setup. It's just this morning I took a picture coming down and thought, if I sent this to anyone who had ever been here, they wouldn't know what year it would be.
That's true, yeah. Is that a good thing or is it a bad thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe to add from another viewpoint, what was different, obvious things were different. It's sometimes funny when we look at old pictures from how we set up the party and it looks totally different. For example, the beam team was on the other side and everyone goes like, what the fuck were we thinking? Because it's plain stupid. But that's just the technical side. And then of course, yes, as you mentioned, coming from Breakpoint, for me, the first thing that comes to mind is that we were, or at least me, were quite unsure what people would think about it. On one hand, yes, you're taking the Easter party legacy onwards, and probably not everyone goes like, oh, fuck it, we won't attend. So that's quite unlikely. But still, yeah, you end up with that thought in your head, well, what if people say, no, I won't go there, or at least not as much as you would expect. And I think we were all quite relieved when actually every one of you, or maybe not everyone, but many of you showed up and made the Easter party go on.
Dojo, you not having been here in 2011, but 2012, can you share some impressions from your first visit to revision? We've known each other. We got to know each other in 2012.
2012.
I didn't know you in 2011, I think.
Yeah, we get to know each other a little bit over TUM, 2013, I think. But I don't think at my first revision we'd met before.
No, I don't know this man.
But my first revision, it was actually my third ever demo party. Before that, I've been at Evoke 2004, and I still have the T-shirt, and at Evoke 2005. And then I was still very insecure, and I couldn't find people who would go there with me, and so I just wouldn't go. And then eventually in 2012, people from my hackerspace would actually say, hey, this sounds like fun, let's go there. And then so we went, and it was absolutely magical. That was the 2012, that was the one with the Epsilon invitation, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So it was a complete different parallel universe that I entered, and my absolute favorite memory of that party was coming back in from the outside area through the curtains, and in the hall there was the Numbers soundtrack playing on the system, and for some reason someone had set up a soap bubble machine, and the air around where I entered was filled with soap bubbles, and Numbers was playing, and I was like, holy shit, I'm in fairyland. And it felt so magical. At that moment I felt like I was not on planet Earth anymore, and I was right at the place I wanted to be. And so by the time we left Revision 2012, we were all driving in my old car, and we were going back, taking the roundabouts, going onto the bigger roads, and I said to my friends, so the only question left is, how do I tell my parents that I'm never going to see them over Easter again?
I think most of us know that feeling.
Right?
Yeah.
But it was such a life-altering experience for me. That was like, okay, there is no way I'm not visiting demo parties again after this. Like, I have to have more of this.
And so the next thing that you would do is take my job from the Scene.org Awards and turn it into the Meteorics. Good job, man.
No, well, that was 2 years later.
But I'm glad you did that.
But yeah, that was that, and that DJ set I played at TUM. I think that's how we met.
Yeah. You wrote me an email on the TUM hotline, I think.
Cooper introduced us at Evoke.
I don't remember that.
And then you said, yeah, well, just send us an email. And then I started cautiously writing to you on IRC. You remember IRC?
I do, yeah. Anyway, thank you for sharing this story. This is actually one of the questions here, or the talking points is, I think that answers yours. What moment defines revision for you personally? I think that's what you share.
Absolutely, that number.
So is there a moment at revision that yells, this is what I want, or this is the revision moment for me?
Countless. I remember one where Hoffman was playing and we had tons of live coding in the background, and I just thought, fuck yeah. Because it was people doing stuff together, and culminating on the stage with a lot of like energy and everyone dancing, and it was this. I think it was also that moment when I thought, fuck, revision is calling the shots. I mean, not deliberately, or it's not like we do this on purpose, but we seem to have created this venue, this time and place for people to come together and create and be fine with each other and just sharing ideas and knowledge and drinks and friendships and everything. But I could enumerate countless ones, but that one. And Hoffman also, I love you. You're a machine.
Yeah, moments are really countless. There's one recurring moment which tells me something about revision. It's also about the scene itself, but especially revision. I often have to deal with people from the outside, like sponsor people, press people from the city, random people dropping by, and so often we go up to the balcony, and then usually the sentence always goes like, "Oh, I didn't imagine it to be like that," and nobody ever ends the sentence with "and it sucks." So they always end it with like it's really cool, and also especially towards the people that attend the party. So nobody ever told me, "Oh, that's a bunch of arrogant, weird bricks." It's always all of these people are so nice, and it's cool what they do, and all of this. And I think that's one defining moment for me for revision. And then there's one particular one that just comes to my mind. I don't know which year it was, to be honest. But it was when Gasman was playing that weird gig outside with an instrument I don't know the name of, and he had his white suit on, and
The guitar.
yeah, guitar. Thank you.
It must have been in 2012 or 13.
Yeah,
I
something
think,
like
yeah.
that. Something like that, I
Been a
guess. And
while.
I mean, yeah. I mean this really on a positive side. I mean, Gasman is more like a little bit introverted person, and I thought, holy shit, this makes it possible that he does something like that, and everyone is enjoying it. And yeah, that was so awesome on many levels. Yeah.
I also thought, how is that the same Gasman? How is this coming out of this man? Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, a moment for me. Yeah, well, there are countless, but I always enjoy. I think that goes for most of us and most of our visitors is when you come from the outside area, you walk through the magic curtain, and then there is this place, this stage. Was also a recent memory. That was yesterday during the concert on Master Boot Record. I have rarely seen so many people down here dancing, moshing. That was the first, and just enjoying themselves. It was loud, sure, and we know that not everybody likes the concerts, but it was like a powerful moment last night. Looking down from the balcony. No, I don't mean it in that way. But yeah, it's always awesome to see our visitors having fun, and ourselves also allowing ourselves to have some fun too. I mean, we do it because it is fun. It's also work, and those rare moments where it converges. That was last night was a moment for me for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, I mean, we have done this, you have done this for 15 years now. And I think this is one of the longest streaks of a demo party, besides Evoke, of course.
And assembly, and there are more.
But there are plenty of other demo parties that don't last for 15 years and counting. So I wonder, what do you think makes or breaks a demo party streak?
Like a pandemic, you mean?
Yeah, but also like if other people are watching and they think, I should start a demo party, what would you tell them to watch out for from day one to make sure it's a lasting success?
That's a good question. I have some ideas. We all been, maybe not dojoe, but NetPoet, Styx and I, we have been organizing many parties, not just revision. And what happens at some point, you get this, I think we called it orga fatigue or something. When it becomes too routine, that's when you need to either stop before it gets too boring or change something that refreshes this. I think the moment for us, we were, I wouldn't say lucky with the pandemic, but I think we were at this point after 9 years, and it was getting a bit too routine, and the pandemic shook things up. Sure, it meant that only like a quarter of the staff of the revision helpers would have something to do because this was completely online. It was a completely new challenge. And for me, it invigorated my love for doing something new. It was exciting, at least the first 2 years. The third year, but that was getting also, again, a bit boring. Yeah, and maybe it gave the organizers that couldn't actively participate in those revision editions also a bit of a breather, so they could maybe reevaluate, well, the future of their own participation in the party.
As you address the pandemic, I think we all have gone through a difficult phase, I would think. I was quite amazed, as we probably all were, how quickly we could set this up. I mean, revision was mainly hit by having, a couple of weeks to set this up as an online event, as opposed to what we had been accustomed to.
I think it was three to 4 weeks is what we had.
And I can just say that I was very concerned about how all of you would reciprocate when we have an actual event again. Because honestly, this is just anecdotal, but a couple of organizers and friends had a couple of years where they didn't go, and then all of a sudden the traditional Easter timetable showed up, and they had different priorities, and so when Easter in, was it 23 approached, I was very uncertain as to how many people would show up and what the atmosphere would be. And I can say I was not only personally speechless by the sheer energy and the quality and massive entries that came in, but also, and to close the circle and answer the question also, I think the energy that you all brought back gave me an entirely new level of energy and enthusiasm for all this. I mean, it was, to me, when I would be standing up there and looking at what's going on, I would think, this is sort of exactly how it used to be, but it is so different than it used to be. This is so much better. Everyone who would show up, there was, I heard fewer arguments, and I mean the whole like Amiga or Atari is shit stuff. I mean it's bonfire stuff, right? But all in all, it was this unbelievable unity that made it much more rewarding for me to show up and do all the things together with all y'all.
Stux, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, it goes in that direction as well. I think the forced break gave some sort of boost, motivational wise. For the exact same reasons, because you're used to how an event is like, and for me, for example, I'm into many things that involve many people in one place. So I'm into demo parties, obviously, but also concerts and going to soccer, and so all of these are events that do not work when no people in massive amounts are there, and so I was quite unsure whether all of this would be possible again, including demo parties and revision. And I mean, that maybe does sound a bit like I don't like any changes at all, which is maybe true to some extent, but not the full story. But I do not mean that the event as such doesn't have to change, but the way it's played, so to say. I mean, I think it doesn't make any sense to change that a lot, because the socializing and meeting aspect is so important to it, as we all know. And if that would have changed dramatically, that would really have been, a problem, so to say. And being here then again with some minor constraints on the COVID side, but that was all handled, and that was, yes, a real boost and great to see, great experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Ja, das
Well, that is actually a great Überleitung to one of the next talking points. Is
Transition.
transition. Oh yeah, I should know that word. Should revision change? What should we do? Should we do something? Should we shake things up to keep our motivation from the organizer's perspective going, and also keep the visitors interested in coming back? There are always optimizations that we can do, and the question is how strongly do we want to, or should we switch it up?
One thing that I do notice that, as you say, we keep changing revision year after year. For one, to adapt to any new kind of regulatory challenges. For two, to adapt to new developments in the scene. Like, I mean, the Shader Showdown was basically, I wouldn't say born here, but
It was not, but that's
But
also
it's-
going for 10 years, for 10 plus years now. So that's there's more shaking up to be done, maybe.
yeah.
I don't have any concrete ideas, but it's something we should discuss, so we can keep the orga fatigue at bay for as long as possible. Strix, do you have, that point, do you have ideas or like input for that? Doesn't have to be anything like, okay, we should do this, and this, but just a feeling. Do we? I think personally, I want to do different things, but I'm not sure what they might be and how to implement them.
It's not easy to answer, to be honest. I do think that trying to come up with something that needs to change is probably the wrong way. I firmly believe that it, to some extent, happens on its own, and I think that's probably also the correct pace to do things. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't also try ideas that pop right into your mind, but yeah, I think the way the scene works with its competitions also makes it a tad hard to drastically change things. I mean, some just come along with the technology change. But yeah, I think the input from the visitors and of course also from the team itself probably will steer us here. And I also believe that this is the right way to do.
I would think figuring out potential to change a demo party should mainly be steered or guided by either outer developments, that could be technological or something, but also that can stem from the friction that you sometimes see when people discuss compo rules. And I think one major thing that I've been not really able to put my finger on is AI. How do we deal with this in the future? And just take the discussions in graphics compos, but really it's a universal thing. What should we admit? What should we not? What should be allowed? What shouldn't? What's fair? What's not? And this is so there are ideas of admitting AI-created content, and then I've heard the idea of having AI rated too, and just evaluate it. So, and I think this is just one development that's both, that's outer and causing friction, and I'm just interested in what that is going to do in the middle or long term, and how we can facilitate it to be the tool for creativity that we want, and be still the inventors and early adapters and the source, the platform for knowledge sharing and development.
That's a whole different topic, but it is a discussion we will have to have. Not just revision, we're just a small part of everything, but it's the next 12 months. I mean, a lot has changed in the past 12 months. A lot more will change in the next 12 months, so we will have to observe that and then see what we can do to adapt to that. Yeah. In general, I think we talked about this internally as well. Revision is, in my opinion, not a place for big change, but is a place to absorb smaller impulses from I don't want to say smaller impulses, but yeah, impulses from other events around the demo scene. Because when we still did the Ultimate Meeting, it was a great place to try out weird shit, stupid shit, or maybe interesting stuff. At an event this scale, this could quickly backfire in the wrong direction, but if you have a 50, 80, 100 people event, you can try out new fun things, and then we can see what can be adapted to a larger format or to a larger audience. Yeah.
And then just scaling that stuff up to a revision-sized party is enough of a challenge in itself.
So what you're basically saying is we don't introduce more fun to revision.
No, I'm saying we're not going to steal more shit from other parties.
I think what would be really fun is to involve the satellites more into the stuff that we create, because I feel, I've honestly very rarely been to a satellite party, and I think those parties are what makes us so worldwide. And I'm sure there is so much crazy stuff and great creativity in other parts of the world that we just don't see because we're here and we think, oh, this is revision. And so I would love it if we had a way to include the participants in the satellites more directly, not just, an entry, but having an idea what the world looks at revision in Japan or in South America. I think that would take it to an entirely different level of understanding and worldwide communication, as opposed to just, basically, forgive me for saying this, as opposed to having people watch us on a stream and say, oh, we can't be there. Like, why? I don't want to, I'm happy you're here. I just don't go anywhere. But just, if you cannot come, why can we not be a little more like our satellite in X or Y?
Yeah, that's a very good point, and we have lots of things to improve on that part. I'm very happy that the satellite concept still works, which was born from the pandemic. So when some countries could already come back together and have watch parties, and we couldn't here in Germany. But I love the fact that people are still interested in hosting these events. And we have Spain, we have Brazil, and we have the Russians for the fourth time in a row. And it's a fantastic way to, as you put it, to expand. I wouldn't say the reach, that sounds too bureaucratic or too political, but it's to include more of us into this event or this what we try to do. And I love the idea, and I'm really happy that it's still ongoing.
And speaking of love, I absolutely enjoy how our Spanish satellite is going all out on marketing. And they're
doing it better than we are.
Yes, they literally have billboards across the city advertising the revision satellite. So how's that for dedication?
That is just fantastic, yeah.
But speaking about things that we want to mix up and things that we want to try out, what's the first thing that comes to your mind that you would say should never change?
The unity. Yes. The being one.
Yep.
It's a cop-out answer, but
Yeah, the mere fact that it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what you do in your everyday life. It doesn't even truly matter whether you contribute actively, but what this universal enthusiasm for this creativity and being here and sharing this, being one.
Nothing to add. Yeah.
yes.
But let me probe a little deeper. What does that? What should we as augurs never change about the way we run the party to maintain that level of unity?
I don't think it's what we do that creates that. We just provide the infrastructure. At least that's my opinion of what we're doing here as organizers, because all the content comes from our visitors, and so does the feeling and the unity that you describe. But we can only give the framework.
But Dojo's right. We're doing something right, I guess.
I mean, other parties also do, by all means. But what is that? And I think it might be part of it might be the way we go out of our way to monitor the sentiments across the scene. We participate in discussions outside of revision time to kind of get we are part of the scene ourselves, and we understand what the scene is about. And then when revision comes around, we go out of our way to
Steal everybody's shit.
that and to facilitate everyone being here, creating a safe and welcoming and inclusive space for everyone, and also making sure before, during, and after the event that people can continue feeling safe and being themselves.
Maybe to add on that, I think, I don't want to dive too much into going along the lines how good it's what we're doing, because that's not on us to decide, I guess. But I think what might be something that is crucial to the fact that it works so well is that the largest part of the organizing team is truly demo sceners or people from other communities and scenes that are alike. So we have a lot of people from, let's say the traditional hacker scene, also from the LAN gaming scene, which I think, except for the actual hobby, is not that much different. Mm-hmm. So we have people from the inside of what we do here, and I guess that's also quite important that you stay in touch with the people that pop up here, and you understand what they're after, and I mean, if you would like, I don't want to sound this negative, but if you would like randomly pull in people that help you run this event, this would probably work on a technical level, but I think if they stand at the info desk at 3 o'clock in the morning and someone pops by half drunk and tells you something about their Atari entry that has a problem and they need to get that sorted out, I think they probably would be like, oh, what the fuck, yeah. And I think that our team, at least can feel what it's about, and thus also is better at helping.
Yeah. I think one very easy to grab part is that we don't sell day tickets. We try to create this safe space for everyone to share stuff, and part of it is that I think it's a very reasonably priced event, but if you had to pay the entire fee for one day, you're probably less likely to do that. And I think we facilitate coming here for the entire event and being part of it, as opposed to coming here and gawking at demo sceners.
Yep. Yeah, so this is it's always a big family meetup run by family and visited by family, and everyone just stays here all the time. And I think also that's why just the sleeping at the party part also plays a pretty big role, because you can just hang out until the cows come home, eventually collapse, get back up, have breakfast with your family. That creates a lot of cohesion. We were wondering, just wondering how far I should skip down the list of questions I got here. But one thing I like is everyone, let's pick one year that was special to us and why it was special. Like pick any, or no, let's say pick any one year and tell me something that was special about that year to you.
I honestly cannot remember the year, but it was the year when I was both at the gathering in Norway to present the Scene.org Awards, and then immediately came here for the rest of the party. And it was special because it was 2 demo parties during Easter, and it was 2 entirely different crowds, and it was all the same nonetheless. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
I totally forgot that. That must have been 2012 or something.
12 or 11.
Maybe even 2011. I don't know. But yet that is. Now I remember again. That was crazy.
But also Leia did that trick once at least, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a stupid investment in this, and stupid not in terms of actually stupid, but it's like it seems unreasonable to do that. But I love the fact that we do things like those.
We do a lot of things not because they're reasonable, but because we can.
Yeah, like revision.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a very unreasonable event. We shouldn't, but we still do.
That's your motto.
Dojo, your favorite year or special year?
2019, the Banter set. Absolutely, hands down, one of my absolute favorite revision or demo scene experiences ever. That was the most fun I had in a long time, and there was a special connection between us on the stage and the crowd dancing, and it was absolutely magical.
It's very hard to pick, and I guess it's fair enough to say I would probably pick any event, but still, if I would choose, I still would make it 2011 just because it was the first one, and at the very end, it was clear that it would work out, so that was very special.
Yeah, I'm also torn between 2011, which is the first year, the year where we didn't know what was going to happen, and we figured out that we pulled it off, and it was a really amazing moment. But I think from a theme perspective, or like a feeling for me personally, it was the 2016, the Evil Bot, and that was so much fun to create the theme with everybody who was involved. Farfar did most of the graphics. We had so many people pitching in. We had Oni, Luisa, JCO, and everybody doing a fantastic invite. And I think we still rendered intro videos for the competitions on Sunday because we could only have so much render power to progress. Everything was, in my opinion, there was a really good show, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun to play around with this theme. Mm-hmm. And we even rented a billboard up there at the street. That was probably extremely super weird for everybody who drove by, because it just said, vote Evilbot. On the streets of Saarbrücken. I love that.
and no one recalls good bot. That poor thing.
Aww.
Yeah, I think we have 1 or 2 more questions left.
Yeah.
But we have to wrap it up.
Maybe a look into the future, what's to come, revision-wise?
I don't want to.
Okay.
I mean, it's a different topic, and it's going to be a long discussion.
I also didn't tell him I'd be asking this.
We can talk about that if you want. I mean,
No, if you want.
the thing is, I think we always silently agree every year around August, September that, well, we're going to start doing revision, and then people start working. Then it's like, okay, I guess we're doing this again. It feels like nobody's pushing, but it just keeps happening. So probably the future will look the same. That's at least my gut feeling. And yeah, revision is sometimes hard to get motivated to do it, especially the kicking off the organization, or like the boring parts with the contracts and everything. But yesterday I was outside, I had time to talk to people, and I was asking myself again, why do I ever have doubts if this is not a good idea? But those doubts creep in after we I don't know, we calm down a bit, couple of months, and then it's like, okay, revision, we should do something, we should start. Then it happens again, and then I'm happy that we did. But the cycle repeats, and I didn't really take the time to think about what it actually means for me or for the future for the revision. But as long as that keeps happening, as long as the payoff in terms of like what we get back on happy memories and great moments that we can experience with all of you is totally worth it.
Yeah. But I completely understand the feeling. I have it too. Like when I'm here, I'm all hyped up, and I think most of you will agree that we all go home and we're hyped and we all want to do stuff together, and then work life happens, and then. But I have that too. I feel like, this is so distant. I have other stuff to do, and I have dinner to cook, and I have work, and then it all pays out.
Yeah, and it's
very
like,
well.
In hindsight, I mean, even months after, you still remember revision as, yes, this was a great thing. I had a lot of fun, both as a visitor and also as an orga. But especially on the orga side, it takes every year it takes a lot of personal sacrifice for people to invest their time, their vacation time, a lot of energy into building this up, tearing this down, running the party. And so eventually kind of just the anticipation of another round of this personal sacrifice kind of overshadows your idea of the party until you're here and until you really start building stuff up, and eventually the hall starts filling with people, and you're looking at it and you're like, yes, I remember. This is why we're doing that.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a while to kick in,
right?
This feeling.
But it's like every year. Sometimes it happens sooner. Sometimes it happens later. But every year, as soon as the party starts, we understand why we're doing this.
Sometimes it takes even until the door is open for me to figure this out. I mean, we show up here on the Tuesday before the Friday where you get here, and by Friday morning we've been here for a couple of days setting everything up, and sometimes I sit there on a Friday morning thinking, and now the visitors too. And then you all are amazing every fucking time.
Yeah, Styx, do you have something to add to that?
Nothing right now, sorry, no.
Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up. It's been dreiviertel Stunde, and we need to tear down the stage. Yeah, I have some verbal strokes from now and again, but yeah.
You have some German.
I have some German in me. Well, thank you. Thank you, Styx and NetPoet, for joining us this morning. Thank you, Dojo.
Thank you as well.
And, well, I think we have some combos to show.
Yeah,
Yes.
and let's remain confident, please.
Very confidently, yeah.
Yeah, we've got the first combo block coming up at 12.
Okay.
To clean up the stage before. We've got EXO music, streaming music, modern graphics coming up. So don't go anywhere, or maybe go somewhere, get some food, get some drinks, but be back at 12.
Awesome.
And
Go make us proud.
yeah,
Enjoy.
enjoy the rest of the morning.